Well, you brought 4 bottles with you.
Right. Those are out of my personal collection.
Out of your, so how many bottles do you have?
Oh, God. Right now, probably about touching 4,000 plus, but a lot of my collection is all about quality rather than quantity, so I have a lot of one-off pieces that are very rare. That's why I claim my collection has got a lot of unique pieces.
That's one of the best collections out there.
In that respect, more about quality.
All right, so tell us, you separated these into 2 groups.
Absolutely.
So on this side, on the left-hand side to us, tell us a little bit about those bottles.
Okay, well, let me sort of start off. Getting into whiskey collecting is quite a unique subject, but getting in, first of all, the bottle that I wanted to showcase, the Rosebank, which is this pale yellow one in the middle, is part of the Diageo classic malt collections. They have a number of distilleries, and this was one that I bought probably about 10 years ago and has appreciated considerably. A couple of $100 bottles that's gone up now, probably touching $1,000.
Really?
Now, that's one way to get into the collecting scene. Go there, buy classic malts products like Lagavulin.
Is that how you got into it?
No, I got it, yeah, pretty much. I started off with the smaller bottles and went all the way through to the top-end bottles.
So that's about $1,000.
It is now, but you can get their newer releases. They release annually the special releases that are around they start from a couple of $100. You can get them from all reputable retailers in the United States and elsewhere as well. Park Avenue, Astor's, Binny's of Chicago. They're great reputable sources. So always buy from there. That's my advice. And then we've got an Ardbeg Provenance. That was released probably back in the early 90s. And it was probably around about $300 a bottle.
When you bought it, okay.
When I bought it, and today, they're all gone, out of market. There was quite a lot in production. They were limited production, so there was 5,000 whatever was produced. That bottle has been fantastic to actually taste and enjoy as well. But if you can buy one today, they run around about 2,000 plus.
Jeez. But how do you know what's going to go up? Are they all eventually going to go up?
No, yeah, it's very complicated because, whiskey, not all whiskey appreciates, so you really have to pick up on some what I call brands, and you have to pick up iconic brands. So always go for things like, Glenfiddich, Macallan, Glenlivet, Ardbeg or Bowmore, Glenfarclas. You're going to be trying this Glenfarclas here, 40-year-old.
Okay.
All these are iconic, established brands, and then look for the limited release bottles in there. And you can start.
So you're going to do a lot of research.
Oh yeah, and then the best thing I suggest for people coming into this market is to go to events. There's a lot of whiskey tasting events, whiskey functions around the country, like the one I host in Las Vegas, where you will try bottles like this, and you will meet the world's best master distillers and blenders.
My problem, Betty, is I open the bottle and I don't end up collecting it because we end up drinking it all over, a reasonable length of time. Let me ask a dumb question with the wonderful Rosebank. Can you open the bottle and then keep it on the shelf and it won't get bad?
Well, that's the beauty about whiskey. Unlike wine, once you open a bottle of wine, you've got to drink it within a few days. Beauty about whiskey is once you open it, it will stay at least for 5 years or so. So it's not going to go off.
For 5 years,
a minimum of 5 years. So, and then when it gets to about quarter size, you've invited all your great friends along, and you just enjoy the product. And I'm like you. I don't want to. It's not just about collecting. I also enjoy the product.
You got to enjoy the product.
I enjoy the product. My philosophy is buy 2. One to enjoy and share and have functions, and the other to go ahead
Betty,
and
look at the bottle next to you.
I know, they're beautiful. So these are a little more expensive.
These are a little bit more expensive. I want to talk about the Black Bowmore next to it. Now, that was another iconic distillery that back in the 90s released from that batch something called a Black Bowmore. They were a couple of hundred at the time. Those original ones now are up to 6,000 to 7,000 in value. Now, this is one that they still have in the market. This is called the Black Bowmore, and this runs about 4,500 retail.
Wow.
And then there's the Macallan Lalique right next, Lalique M decanter. This was just launched last night in the United States. These will run at about $4,500, and it's actually a real masterpiece of work with 3 different.
So you would say buy into that because that one, even if it's $4,500, is going to go up.
Bottles like that will definitely go up. All of these bottles have gone up, and because all the brands are iconic. So always go with something that's got some substance that out there. All the popular brands, but look for something that's got a little bit more of a limited production run.
Okay.
So now it's time to drink.
That is the cue.
Well, let's. This is a wonderful distillery. Again, it's in Speyside, Scottish.
How much is that bottle, by the way?
This is probably running about 1,500 to 2,000 a bottle.
Oh, you're kidding me!
Yeah. So I've got a little treat here for you today.
Wow.
This is a 40-year-old bottle.
word.
This is a family cask, again a collectible. So this is what we do at our events.
Wait, so this is 1972?
It's a vintage from
I
1972.
gotta stop doing early morning TV. This is much more interesting.
And the beauty about this is one of the only family, small family-owned distilleries left in Scotland. It's the Grant's family.
Right.
Well, there's a lot of Grants in Scotland, but this is owned by a guy, the sixth generation George Grant, and this is, they've got about 4 decades of whiskies from each year of the decades, and this is from 1972.
Mahesh, what is the proper way to drink? I'm not a whiskey drinker,
well,
so what's the
then
proper?
I'll have yours as well.
What's the proper way to drink it?
This is one of the iconic, what I call the Glencairn crystal glass. This is what you try in. You nose it, and you know, you can really get the nosing, get all the flavors coming out, and so this is the perfect way to have the whiskey in. So let me pour you some, sir. So.
That's more than some.
It's Thursday.
And do you like to have a cigar with your whiskey?
I occasionally have cigars, but you know, I find that to enjoy a whiskey of this nature, you really don't want to have anything else on your palate. And,
okay, so what do we do?
Well, before we do, in Scotland they say slangevar. That means to slangevar, good health.
Okay, slangevar.
Slangevar.
You know, we say here, we say human resources violation.
And then we smell it?
You take it up to your nose, part your lips a little bit, and then just have a nose of this thing. Before you put it on your palate, just have a nice nose, see what you get.
I do that with a Jenny Cream Ale as well.
Absolutely. And then
don't make
take
me laugh while I do this. Okay.
Now wrap it around your mouth and just let it sit there and see how much, you know, this has got so much age in there.
Ooh.
How old is it?
Well, it's from 1972, so this was bottled in 11, so it's touching 39 years old.
Wow.
I've never had anything this glorious, this old.
Well, you have now.
No, it's fabulous.
It's a great whiskey.
Do you mind if we finish it?
Absolutely, please do so. Please do so.
Radio will wait. But within this, seriously, we buy 10-year, 12-year. There's a marketing of more affordable scotches.
Absolutely.
What do I get most wrong when I go to a bar or I walk into a liquor store and I'm like everybody else buying a $50 or $60 bottle of scotch? What's my biggest mistake I make?
Well, you're not really making a mistake. I mean, that's all those products are their regular.
Should I spend $20 more? Is that the
I would
mistake?
say start with that. If you've enjoyed that palette just like me, then move up the ladder and then explore, go to the next level, and that does 2 things. You can either become a collector and a connoisseur and start drinking it as well, but that's when you will start appreciating as you go up. The older the whiskies get, you get a bit more refinement in the whiskies.
Wait, so how did you get into this, Mahesh?
I've been around it well over 25 years, originally from the UK, so let's put it this way, back when I was a teenager or getting back into university, I started exploring whiskey, and then just like you mentioned, go to a store. There you go. That's fine. You go into a store and then just explore.